Sometimes things happen in life that you don't expect. Like pulling off a 17-point comeback in the fourth quarter, baby. Go Pack Go, baby. That game was insane. Okay, back to the actual stuff at hand here. I made a video talking about the top 5, well, really top 6 hand cannons. Basically the best one in each element: Kinetic, Stasis, Strand, Arc, Solar, and Void. And in that video, I had some people ask me if I could do that same type of video just for other different weapon classes. And that's exactly what we're going to do today. And the first request that I saw was from Waffle32 in the comment section. And he wanted a video for auto rifles, which kind of surprised me. But as someone who has always had a very small soft spot for auto rifles, I figured, dude, why not, man? Auto rifles aren't the strongest weapon in the PvE sandbox, but a good shooting auto rifle feels really nice in your hands. And that's why in this video, we're going to be talking about 6 of them. We're going to be doing it similar to the hand cannon video, basically talking about one from every single element and what I think is the best one in each element. We're also not going to be mentioning exotic auto rifles. Only going to be talking about legendary auto rifles in this video. And remember, guys, before we get started, if you ever want to get your games and their DLC for a cheaper price, make sure to head to Instant Gaming, top link in the description. They got you covered, along with a free monthly game giveaway that they always do. Both links are going to be at the top of the description if you want to check that out. That being said, let's talk some auto rifles, baby. Okay, so we're going to begin with the Darkness subclass auto rifles first, then we're going to move on to the Kinetic. And the first auto rifle that we're going to talk a bit in depth here about is going to be from the Stasis family. Now this auto rifle does have a bit of a special place in my heart, as I use this bad boy a lot during the Witch Queen, and that is none other than the good old Crate, the great Crate, baby. So the Crate is a world drop auto rifle introduced with the Witch Queen, and similar to its popular cousin in the Funnel Web, this gun also has Vice Stinger, which is obviously a lot better during the year of the Witch Queen than it is now. Still good of an origin trait, just not as insane, right? But the Crate is a nice 720 RPM auto rifle. The only thing you got to keep in mind with Stasis and Strand weapons in the Kinetic slot is that they're going to be doing 15% less damage than your Kinetic counterparts in that same slot, right? Now if I go ahead and bring up the perk pool for you to look at, you're going to see that this thing does have some pretty nice perks. I'll admit that the perk pool for this gun isn't jaw-dropping insane, but this is a world drop weapon, and there's some pretty good stuff here, man. For instance, in the third column, we got things like Overflow and Subsistence. I'm not really going to talk about auto-loading holster on an auto rifle. I think Overflow and Subsistence are the only 2 true options here. Maybe Stats for All, because in the fourth column you do have One for All, and we all know that Stats for All, One for All is a pretty popular combo. In fact, it is a popular combo that we're going to talk about a little bit later on in the video, but it's also on this weapon as well. We did talk about Headstone with the IS Luna in the hand cannon video. However, on a 720 auto rifle, you're not going to be getting Headstone to proc nearly as often, which is why in the fourth column, I would definitely recommend One for All. All you need to do to proc this perk is just damage 3 separate enemies within 3 seconds, and then you're going to get yourself a nice 35% damage buff for 10 seconds, which is definitely better than anything else you could get in the fourth column, including Vorpal and Headstone. I think One for All is by far the clear-cut favorite in the fourth column. That being said, I have 3 crates in my vault, one with One for All Subsistence. I had my first ever one drop with Vorpal and Overflow that I like to use for a little bit. I don't use it anymore. And then I do have a Subsistent Headstone one just because I like this weapon enough to keep 3 copies of it. I like this auto rifle, I just don't find myself using it that much anymore. From blue to green and crystals to string, we're over in the Strand family of auto rifles. A family of 2. The auto rifle I'm going to be talking about is from Route to Nightmares, the dungeon that everybody loves to do. Just kidding. That's a raid that nobody likes to consider a raid. But the Rufus's Fury is a beautiful rapid fire frame 720 auto rifle from Route to Nightmares, and it is an absolute beast of a weapon. Its origin trait doesn't help it out too much just because it's an auto rifle, but its perk pool is pretty nasty, man. And you can definitely have this bad boy go to work on some Strand builds for you as well. Let's go ahead, pull up that pool. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So in that third column, you have some pretty good options. You got Reconstruction, Rewind Rounds, and the triedest of true perks, Demolitionist. So then you move over to the fourth column, and there's still some pretty good stuff here. Adrenaline Junkies here, Demo AJ, always a pretty fun combo of perks. One of my personal favorite perks, and Frenzy. Do love myself some frenzy action. You do also have the Root of Nightmares perk, Paracausal Affinity. Final blows of energy types matching this weapon's alignment grant increased damage for a short period of time. Basically, any darkness final blows are going to boost the damage of this weapon. 20% increased damage for 6 seconds to be exact. This is one of the nicest feeling auto rifles in the game and is very, very well rounded. And it's a 720, which in my opinion, I feel is the most desired frame if you are going to use an auto rifle. And this thing's just got a really good combo of perks. Demo Frenzy is one of my favorite perk combos for any primary weapon in the game. I like Paracausal Affinity as well. It's really hard to go wrong when crafting the Rufus's Fury. I feel like I should also mention that it does have target lock for anybody that cares. Really good auto rifle. Definitely the best Strand auto rifle, even though there's not much competition for Strand auto rifles in the game at the moment. So we move from the Darkness auto rifles and we go on to the Kinetic. Good old Kinetic damage. Now, I will be honest with you. For the Kinetics, I'm going to talk about one, but I'm going to at least mention two. The main one that I'm going to talk about is going to be the Chroma. Straight from Season 14. It's been a minute now, but this is a, say with me now, rapid fire frame 720 RPM auto rifle. What can I say, man? 720s, they just hit nice. Now, this gun's perk pool isn't the strongest just because, you know, there is some age on this weapon at this point, but it still has some decent options. If I pull its perk pool up for you guys real quick, you'll see in the third column, the best perk, at least for PvE, in my opinion, would probably be Subsistence, quickly followed up by something like Feeding Frenzy. And then in the fourth column, your two main options are going to be Adrenaline Junkie and Rampage. Rampage is a classic perk in this game, and you combine Rampage with Feeding Frenzy, you have yourself a pretty nice little combo there, bud. It also does have Kill Clip, but that's more of a PvP perk. The only problem with this thing now is that it's a little bit difficult to get. So, I do want to at least mention the other Kinetic auto rifle, which has a, believe it or not, Demolitionist Frenzy roll, which is a really good roll, and that is the Last Breath from the Prophecy Dungeon. That auto rifle is a 600, but you could definitely go farm it if you don't have a Chroma Rush. Both of these auto rifles are really solid, really nice, and that's why I had to mention both of them for this segment of the video. Alright everybody, we move into the energy slot of auto rifles, Arc, Solar, and Void. We're going to start off with the good old Arc. And no, it's not the Arc Logic. We're talking about a Season 16 weapon, that being none other than the sweet Sorrow. Say it with me, boys. 720. 720. That's right. We got a 720 rapid fire RPM Arc auto rifle in the sweet Sorrow. This gun, believe it or not, has found its way into a few of my loadouts and some pretty high-end content. I use this bad boy in Day 1 Kingsfall for Daughters, and I've used this thing in a few GMs now as well. The main reason for that is because its origin trait is actually really, really good and pretty useful. Final blows with this weapon grant increased resilience and additional damage resist from combatants. Wow. It even stacks up to 3 times. On weapon kill, you get 10 resilience and 5% damage resist against PvE combatants for 5 seconds. I mean, dude, for an origin trait, we take those. We definitely take those. Now, its perk pool isn't jaw-dropping, insane, giga chat amazing, but there's a roll in here that is, I don't want to say perfect, but it fits this gun. And I am talking about Stats for All, One for All. See, I told you guys we'd be talking about this combo later in the video. And if you stuck through, thank you. And here we are. Stats for All is going to give you a lot of bonuses. It's going to give you bonus to your weapon handling, stability, reload, and range for 10 seconds whenever you damage 3 separate enemies. And we've already talked about what One for All does, but that's a 35% damage increase for doing the same thing that you need to do for Stats for All. Shoot 3 separate enemies. So you're in some high-end content, you just damage 3 different enemies. Look, here's what you're going to get after that. You're going to get yourself 10 stability, 35 handling, 10 range, 5% increased damage fall off distance, 35 reload speed, and a 35% damage buff. All for 10 seconds. Those are some pretty juicy benefits for just tagging 3 enemies. Very minimum effort required for getting a lot of bonuses granted to you. That's why I go with this roll. It does have some other perks. Maybe in the 4th column, you're looking at like Demolitionist. It does have triple tap in the 3rd if you're looking at that. But I really think there's only one true role for this auto rifle, and it's stats for all, one for all. And like I said, this gun has found its way into a few of my loadouts for some high-end content. Day 1 raids and GMs included. It's the only auto rifle on this list that I can say that for. I love to give my preaches and praises to this gun because it's a sneaky competitor. Especially now that double special has been nerfed, so actually using an auto rifle, you're not throwing hardcore anymore. And I would definitely recommend giving this gun a spin if you have its pattern for it. Honestly, you could say it's the best auto rifle out of all the ones we're talking about in this video. It's really good. It's really good, dude. Don't sleep on Land Tank. Now we head to space as we stare straight into the void. And I'll be real here. I have an honorable mention in this slot, but the one that I'm going to talk about is, believe it or not, another reprisal. And this is not a 720. Unfortunately, do we even have like a non-sunset 720 void auto rifle in the game? I don't think we do. But we have the age-old Bond reprisal from Last Wish, the Season 21 version. The main reason I'm mentioning this auto rifle is that it has a lot of synergy with Void 3.0 style builds, as it has access to both repulsor brace and destabilizing rounds. Not too many weapons have that exact combo, but this one does, and you can craft it. Other perks that you may use on this gun, I'm gonna be real, not many. You may want to give Dragonfly in the 3rd column a try, or Target Lock in the 4th column a try. But real talk, dude, I put this gun in here because it has both repulsor brace and destabilizing rounds. Repulsor in the 3rd, destabilizing in the 4th. Synergizing really well with any void style build. And the honorable mention weapon that I have for here is the Gnawing Hunger. Although getting that gun to drop for you this day, good luck. Your best bet is to have Xur or Banshee sell it, which is another reason why I felt like I had to give the age-old Bond the actual nod of approval. Honestly, bro, we need some more void weapons in this game now that I'm thinking about it. But either way, we gotta move on. Because is it hot in here? Or is it just me? Because we're talking the solar auto rifle, baby. This one will be a little bit more fun because we're talking about a pretty recent addition to Destiny 2. Not to Destiny as a whole, because this is actually an old school raid weapon. So old that this raid weapon actually used to be an exotic at one point in its lifespan. But here in the year 2023, the Abyss Defiant has a pretty awesome role that I have to tell you guys about. Honestly, why it has this slot. Because it's definitely not its frame. It's a high impact. It's a 360. But the role that this bad boy has, if I go ahead and throw out the perk pool for you, you'll see that it has Heal Clip in the 3rd and Incandescent in the 4th, which is the role that I'm talking about. Heal Clip is a new perk introduced in Season 22, where reloading shortly after dealing a final blow grants Cure to you and your nearby allies. That's pretty awesome. That's a nice benefit from the solar subclass that you can get on a weapon. It also does have things like subsistence and reconstruction in the 3rd column, but I'm really eyeing on that Heal Clip, especially because that is incandescent, which is another way to add some synergy with 3.0 solar builds. 3.0. It also does have things like Target Lock and Sword Logic in the 4th column as well if you don't want to go with incandescent. But I feel like incandescent's really good on primary weapons. And the fixed odds to go, baby. I love that LMG. Getting that access to Cure on any subclass is definitely going to bump this gun's utility up there. And incandescent just synergizes really well with any solar build. And even if you're not on a solar build, incandescent's still really good. But this gun is designed for some awesome synergy in solar 3.0 builds. And I'm telling you, dude, that Heal Clip is going to come in handy more than you think it will. Big trust, big trust. It's new to Destiny 2, and it finds its way onto this list. And that is going to do it, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on this list, as well as your favorite auto rifles in the game as well. Thank you so much for watching the video. Remember, if you ever want to get your games in their DLC for a cheaper price, and or enter yourself into a free monthly game giveaway, Instant Gaming has got you covered. Top 2 links of the description. You guys be safe, take care, consider subscribing, and we'll see you in the next one.